pull that trigger on that. Guys, it's me, Ray, from raytalks.co.uk, and welcome to another video of mine. Guys, how you doing? Before we continue, I'm gonna need you to hit the subscribe button and press that bell. Ding-a-ling-a-ling. Guys, today is a day where I'm gonna be talking to y'all. You can see from the title what we're gonna be talking about. I don't know why I'm doing this accent, because the title will suggest I ain't gonna be talking about people that, you know, talk like this. You hear me? Yo. So my brand name is Ray Talks, and I don't feel like I do enough. Oh, hello. I don't feel like I do. Oh, hello. I don't feel like I do enough talking on the channel in terms of different topics. I've had topics I've spoken about, and I will leave those videos up here. So this video is going to be me talking about what it was like growing up in the UK as a black person, as a black woman. So if you didn't know, I'm British. What? I know some people, their hair is going to be, she what? What she call herself? British? Girl, I'm black, British, yo. So I just would love to talk about my experience as a black woman or as a black person. Hello, Charlotte girl, growing up in the UK. So let's get into it. Let me talk a bit about my family. So you might know already from the channel if you've been riding with me long enough. I am British born. I was born and bred in the UK. My parents are West African. Can you guess where in West Africa? Etise Morvin, a cowboy. So that was, you know, a little guess. So my mother, she was Nigerian, and my dad is Nigerian and Ghanaian. So tribe-wise, because if you're like me, you're more into tribes as opposed to colonial structures, aka countries. Hello. I am Yoruba on both my mum and dad's side, and on my dad's side, the Ghanaian side, we are Ga, we are Krobo, Sumanya. My Ghanaian people, if you ever watch this, please help me out, because my geography, my Ghanaian geography is in the bin. I also believe that I am part Ewe. Ewe is another tribe that's in modern day Ghana and can be found in Togo. So if you're talking about countries, I wouldn't be surprised if I'm also Togolese. Yeah. So I call myself ECOWAS. If you don't know what ECOWAS is, that is just like this partnership between several West African states. I've even got my Niger passport. ECOWAS. Boop, boop, boop. When the NSARS thing happened, I don't know, I took my passport and then just put it like nearer me. Boom. I am really and truly a West African girl. People never really guess where I'm from. I've got I think I got Zim once. I've had Sierra Leone. I do get Ghana, and when my hair's like blown out, I'll leave a picture here. Rarely get Nigerian, and it's crazy because the way I am, those who know me personally, I am like Yoruba, Naija to the core. My parents came over to the UK in the 80s. So my parents lived through Thatcher Britain, John Major, and yada, yada, yada. So if you know anything about Thatcher Britain, Margaret Thatcher was a former Prime Minister in the UK. And she does have a nickname called Margaret Thatcher, the Milk Snatcher, and just go and Google it. I might leave some information about her, whether you're pro or against. It was a tough time in the 80s, for even before then, for a lot of black folk. Like some of the stories my parents, you know, told me about their experience coming over here. It's quite shocking that they went through that, and it's not even that long ago. So the late 80s is not that long ago, you know what I mean? And yeah, it was awful, some of the stuff they went through, but you know, being true Africans, they were very resilient and they just dealt with it. And I remember my late mother, she would just even often, it's not even funny, she'll just laugh stuff off. And I'm gonna even touch on, you know, a situation a bit later that she like didn't even deep it as that serious. Well, she probably did, but just being an African woman, just didn't want to draw too much attention to it. We lived in different places, different places, mainly in the south. of London, so I'm a Londoner. Maybe because I'm a Londoner and I hate London Town. Fun fact. I have a hate-love relationship with London and Lagos, Nigeria. You know, hey. So I'm a Londoner, Southeast London, boom, boom. Southeast Londoners, let me know in the comments down below. So yeah, so I've basically was brought up in Southeast London. My upbringing, okay, let's talk about my upbringing. So where I remember, like, when I remember, oh, sorry, Mr. Speaker. We grew up, my sisters and I, right, in basically racist areas within London. There's this idea that if you live in London, you're not exposed to a lot of racism. London is a bit of a melting pot. It has a bit of everybody living here, and its diversity has grown massively. But I still find, even today, there's parts of London where you go to and you're like, where's everybody that, where the people that look like me at? Where y'all folk? Where the people with the tan? Where the people with the good skin at? Like, you don't really see a lot of culture in parts of London. And then like, really? Yes, guys, really. And especially with a lot of regeneration happening in London. I have mixed feelings about regen. I think it's a really good thing, and I also see the negatives as well. It means that a lot of more white individuals are now coming into London, into certain areas in London. I'm not going to say where I live now, but I used to live in a place called Bermondsey, if you know Bermondsey. Yeah. So when we lived in Bermondsey, I was like a toddler. And then we moved to where I am now. Like I said, I ain't gonna tell you. Y'all don't know me in real life. You know where I live, but you know. And Bermondsey has, and as I've gotten older, when you do more research and find out more, has had a fairly racist past. You had, I think, members of very far right groups who lived and dwelt there. Even there is a famous football club not too far from Bermondsey way, Millwall, and a lot of, in the past, I don't know what it's like now, a lot of their followings were branded as racist. And I know it's probably not the case for everybody, you know, but there was a lot of racial tension. And I know my mum shared a story with me once about basically this man that used to always call us monkeys. Oh my days. He used to call us monkeys, and then one time my mum stood up for herself and the guy just didn't bother us again. I ain't gonna go into detail because I might offend somebody. So yeah, but like I said, my mom was a Yoruba woman. You hear me? So then we moved to where we live now, and where we live now is that's South London to me. Now it is more diverse, but when we moved here, it was legit. In some instances, spot the black, where the black people are. And this is London. So we experienced racism. I remember I was on the phone to my sister this week. I'll leave her channel down below. Hey Ruthie, hey. And she was talking about how she had a specific hairstyle. And, you know, I remember some white kids basically likened her hairstyle to a penis. And you just think, they would have never said that if she had like straight hair and but yeah, there were things like that. So we went from an area that was racist to another area that was racist, and I felt as you got older, where you're allowed to go out, can I go out to play, it was more evident the level of racism. And I think when you're a bit younger, it's like your parents shield you from racism as much as they can, or you don't necessarily acknowledge the severity of certain comments and body language like people exude towards you because you got you got beautiful skin. That's what it is. You know, racism as a concept is so flawed, and it's just so evil when you think about it. But yeah, so we grew up, those are the type of areas I grew up in. So when people say like they haven't really experienced that much racism because they live in London, girl, boy, everybody, that wasn't my experience. The secondary school I went to was within the borough that I lived in, but not in my area, my direct area. So I had to get a bus to go in school. It wasn't too far. And that, guys, was a racist school. That school was racist. exist. Like, it's funny now, that school is extremely diverse, and I think they have a very growing black population and Asian population that go to the school. But at the time, I remember in my year group in secondary school, my primary school was actually quite black, even though it was a spot the black area, and then it became a bit more diverse. And yeah, but anyway, secondary school now, yeah, it was, in my year at the time, it was a very small school, then they've expanded it. My year, I think there was about 200 girls. Out of the 200, if I include all the black and Asians are mixed, including those in my friendship groups and weren't in my friendship group, I'm not joking, guys, 'cause I've told the story a few times to some friends and here and there, max, there was like 25 of us. So you do the maths. A year group of 200 girls, and only 20 to 25 are BAME. I know people don't like that word, I'm sorry. Black, Asian, minority ethnic groups, you know? And if I actually add the minority ethnic, so people that might be from Lithuania, Poland, whatever, I think it was like one girl, maybe one girl, yeah, and she came in like year 11, you know? So it was a very, yeah, you know, unique experience. Where we went to school, right, where I went to school, the surrounding areas that were nearer to the school, again, there was a lot of racism. You know, we had classmates that were really nice to us, but, you know, I remember one girl, Bilton, boom, boom, you might remember the story, like, told us, like, yeah, her parents wouldn't be too fond of the idea of her having black friends, and her parents are very open at the fact that they didn't like Polish people. You're just like, skirt, what? Yeah, it was a thing. Where I went to school, there was a very racist group. If I say the group's name, you guys might know, but anyway, I'm not going to say their name. But they were like a somewhat far left group. They were far left. And they had a rap song. This white group had a rap song. And one of the lyrics was like, pull that trigger on that N-word, you know. So those were some of the things we dealt with going to secondary school. And then there was also hostility from teachers as well as the police, who would look at your skin and treat you a certain way. I remember one time we were on the school bus going home, and then the bus stopped at a certain bus stop. Then we all got off. I don't really remember what happened, but there was this black guy, and he got gripped up by the police. And I think that time, telling my age, camera phones have just come out, and excuse me guys, and one of my friends, yeah, she like got her phone out. This is racism, and started recording, and then they like gently like got off him. And I remember then again in that going to school there. This was in like a shopping center area. This would happen like outside some of these things. This guy, like black guy again, had about 6 police people on him. So imagine like, you know, with the George Floyd, but then imagine like another like 5 to 6 bodies on the person. Luckily he got up and stuff, but it was just horrible to see. They used to treat the black boys like animals, and you know, even teachers, the way they would treat us, and even in the school as well. I even very recently, hey Tamika, and we were having this conversation about just even going to a school that was very racist, what it could have done to your self-esteem, or has done to your self-esteem. Like, you're in an area or an environment, the colour of your skin isn't accepted, and then in addition to that, you're seen as the other, you know, unfavorable and things like that. And then you're going through puberty and your hormones are a bit all over the place. I remember there was a girl in secondary school, Bilton and Lola, if you watch the video you might remember, she said to us, she was like, our men, white men, don't like women with, you know, big bums. And if it from the black culture, you know, everybody want a booty. To the point people are getting BBL, but that's a whole nother story. And then like for us, it was not even that deep, because we didn't mind having small bacassi. I'm not gonna, you know, I'm into modesty now, I ain't gonna show you my bum. But, you know, you do, you know, aspire to have a booty, you know, a bum. So I was like, I'm gonna shrug it off. But imagine if I didn't aspire to have a bum or whatever, and that would have shocked me. Do you know what I mean? Like, just that you think, oh, you don't like the colour of our skin, you don't like our body shape, you mock the way we do things and stuff like that. There were other things that happened in that secondary school. If any of my friends from secondary school are watching this, guys, just leave comments down below and give people the tea, because I just want to say, if you went to my secondary school, you know, guys, we did really well. We did really well to be in that hostile environment and come out and not have a desire, I feel like I want to cry, and not have a desire to bleach our skin or to hate our blackness or to be apologetic about being black. You know, like my secondary school friends were doing good, and we thank God for that. I feel like I'm gonna cry. What? You know, and yeah, it was like, but it's so funny. I had an amazing time in secondary school, but like things we went through was like, that is so racist. From bus drivers to teachers to the police, we went through it. So I think, you know, the next thing I want to talk about is my upbringing a bit more and my culture. So as I've said, I'm from a West African background, and I think just internalizing what happened in school, it almost made me somewhat repel British culture a little bit. Like there's things within British culture that I embrace, and I do find when you're like me, Black British, you know, British born, or you grew up here, and Black, or you know, you tend to create your own culture, and I think that's beautiful. So at home, I was very much immersed in Nigerian culture, like Yoruba culture. Yeah, I don't really know that much about my Ghana side. I talk to my Ghanaian cousins probably more than my Nigerian ones, but I don't really know much about my Ghanaian culture. I've been to Ghana, I've been to Nigeria. Fun fact, I went to Nigeria for the first time in 2016, and I went 2017. Then I went 2019. I wanted to actually go this year, but 2020 as I'm recording this, but COVID happened and that. But yeah, so my mom was Yoruba, but her Yoruba wasn't like, girl, she was Yoruba. She grew up in Lagos, so yeah, she was sharp. You know, she's a very sharp woman and very unapologetic about being, you know, Yoruba and Nigerian. She came here when she was like early 20s, and she still had her accent and everything till the day she passed and stuff like that. And even my friends from secondary school, or even my other friends, they can all testify of just how Nigerian my mum was, and very proud of her culture. And that's something that I've definitely, you know, kept. You know, I take the good, you know, and the bad, you can just go to that side. Go so saying, you know, go back, go so saying, move back in it. But yeah, in our house, I remember, like, I used to, like, I don't listen to a lot of these musics anymore because of my belief system and stuff like that. But I did grow up listening to, like, Fuji music. So Fuji music is a genre within the Yoruba culture. And you have the likes of Ayuba, you have Pasuma, you have Kolintin, you have, what's that, like Queen Salawa, Gentle Lady, all that stuff. So it wasn't just I wasn't just, hey, I'm just Nigerian, no. And then every Sunday, this is before I knew about the Sabbath, we would wake up listening to Yinka Afele, Britico, Afele, you know, Fonte and stuff like that. And just other Nigerian artists. I also really liked music by Fela Kuti, and I feel like that's probably like my dad's influence, but not really. Like with my dad, this is gonna sound crazy, we used to listen to a lot of Bob Marley, songs. So I grew up listening to like Fuji, to reggae, like you know those Bob Marley songs. I don't listen to music anymore, but there's some songs of Bob Marley. They're not just one note; they're like proper deep, and they're very like, they speak out against the colonizer and things like that. So that's the type of music I was growing up listening to. And then even in like television shows, we used to grow up watching Nollywood. Shout out to Lady in uni as well. We used to just binge watch Nollywood. So it'd just be immersed. I would immerse myself around this culture. But then at the same time, I was the type that I loved a crumpet. I can't stand tea. So that British thing, I love a cup of tea. I can't stand tea. I love talking about the weather though. I can like when I talk about the weather, I'm actually not making small talk. I genuinely am fascinated at, yes, the hand of God and the weather in this country, because it is mind-boggling, you know? So those are some things about myself that I'm very British as well. And then the taboo of not really talking about money and just little British things like, you know, I'm very like, please say please and thank you. My sisters are going to watch that. You don't say please and thank you all the time. But those are just some of the things that I've, you know, taken in, and other things I've, you know, don't really like about the British culture. One thing I do like about the African culture is the emphasis on family. Here and there, it's not always done right or whatever, but there is a level of, you look out for other people. There's not this level of selfish self that I find is more evident within European culture. I did study anthropology as well. got a master's in anthropology of development. So I am really fascinated about culture and things like that. So yeah, growing up as a black person in the UK, it was interesting, you know. I learned how to balance and straddle different cultures, and it's almost as if, I don't want to say you perform, but you're very able to know how to navigate certain environments, especially if you're like my friends and I who went to the same secondary school, because we were around a lot of white people, and then we'll go home or to each other's events and be, or family events, and then be around a lot of black people, and it was about finding that balance. And I think I have, by God's grace, found that balance of what to take and what to drop, you know, and, you know, just also having my culture now more in Christ, and Christ being my identity, and finding my identity in him as being more important. I've talked a lot. I hope you found this interesting. I'm really feeling myself. I need to just cool down. Lol. But yeah, so that was my experience. Maybe I'll do another one of these. I don't know. Let me know. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Have a good day. Do not forget to subscribe and share this video with at least one friend. And before I say have a good day again, make sure you leave a comment. Tell me about your experience about being black, British or Asian, you know, or Polish, you know, non-white in the UK or wherever you are in the world. Let me know. So yeah, this was fun. Have a good day, guys. Bye. Ray.